In this video, I'm going to go over some of the core functionality of the RenderWeb Facebook app. RenderWeb allows artists and animators to upload their projects to RenderWeb, and then once those projects are uploaded, the time-consuming rendering process can be distributed among friends and families within Facebook. For example, here I have a project that I created in Blender, the popular 3D animation program, and I'll go ahead and render one frame of this animation. And although this is a simple project, rendering can take a while. For example, this project takes about 40 seconds to render one frame of this animation on my computer. And since it's a 200 frame animation, to render the entire project would take about 2 hours and 15 minutes. But if we upload this project to RenderWeb, and if there's a lot of users that are helping out to render, we should be able to render this animation in about 2 or 3 minutes. So now let's go ahead and upload this project to the RenderWeb Facebook application to distribute out the rendering among Facebook users. So let's go ahead over to our project manager, upload a new project, and we'll browse to where that project is. And here it is right here, reflect.blend. Go ahead and upload that project. So now the project is on the RenderWeb server. We'll enter the start frame 1, the end frame 200, and a brief description of the project. And then we'll just go ahead and hit the submit button. And it says your project was successfully uploaded and added to the rendering queue. And by going over to our project manager, we see we have a new entry of the project that we just uploaded. Now what we want to do is we want to volunteer this computer that I'm currently on to help render that animation. And we can do this directly within Facebook by just clicking on the volunteer link. But when we volunteer, we're not going to be the only one rendering, because as you can see, there's 62 computers out across the internet that are helping to render animations. So we'll just go ahead and volunteer this computer by clicking the volunteer link. And then one more click on the volunteer your computer button. And that's really all you need to do in order to volunteer a computer within the RenderWeb Facebook application. There's no complicated downloads, installs, or configurations, just a simple click directly within the web browser. And since the rendering occurs right within the web page, as long as this tab is open, this computer will continue to render animations. And although it's a simple click for the user, there's really a lot going on behind the scenes here. For example, the Facebook application first downloaded my Blender project and then launched a new process to render this animation frame by frame. On my computer, it's currently rendering frame 39 of this animation. Once my computer finishes rendering this frame, the image will be automatically uploaded to the server. And there we go. We just rendered a frame of this animation. And as the volunteer, we get to see a preview image of the frame that we just rendered. So now let's go back over to our project manager to see our progress so far in rendering this animation. And although we've only been rendering this animation for about 40 seconds, we're already 32% done rendering this animation because there's 63 computers out across the internet all working together to render it. So now let's go back and watch this finished rendering. It'll just take another few minutes. One of the innovative aspects about RenderWeb is that the entire user experience, from uploading projects to volunteering a computer and to watching animations, that this entire user experience is completely integrated within Facebook. And RenderWeb does some pretty neat things with social networks. For example, when you volunteer a computer to render, you would probably rather have your own personal resources go towards a friend's project rather than a stranger's project. So what RenderWeb does is it uses the existing relationships within Facebook to drive the flow of computation. You see, Facebook already knows who your friends are, so your rendering resources will naturally flow with a higher priority towards projects belonging to your Facebook friends. We call this feature socially driven computation. Another way that RenderWeb uses social networks is that you can easily notify your Facebook friends when you need their help rendering a large project. And the way this works is that when you upload a project, you can choose to have RenderWeb automatically post a message to your wall that says something like, click here to help render my animation. And then all your Facebook friends who get your news feeds and updates, all they have to do is click on that link and they can volunteer to help render your project. So it looks like we're almost done rendering this animation. We're currently rendering frame 193 out of 200. And although it would have taken about 2 hours and 15 minutes to render this animation on my computer, but by uploading this project to RenderWeb, and by having 64 Facebook users working together, we were able to render this animation in about 3 minutes. So it just finished rendering the last frame. It says, rendered Adam's project, waiting for new project to enter the queue. So let's go back over to our project manager, and we'll go ahead and refresh the page, and we see it finished rendering this animation. And when we go over to the animations page, we see that our newly rendered project is front and center for the community to watch. And this video can be watched directly within Facebook. And the RenderWeb app makes it very easy for animators to share these videos with their Facebook friends. You can post the video to your wall by clicking on the like button, and then by adding a comment, something like, check out my new animation rendered on RenderWeb, and then we can go ahead and post that to Facebook. So let's go ahead and see how this looks on my Facebook wall. We'll go down to my newsfeed, and we see we now have a post on our wall with a thumbnail to our video, and all of our friends who are on our wall can just click on this link and view your new animation. So that pretty much sums up the core functionality of the RenderWeb Facebook application. You can upload projects, volunteer computers to render, and share those animations, and you can do this all within Facebook. For more information, please visit our webpage at renderweb.org. Thank you.